To the homestead. For those of you who are new to my channel, a warm welcome. For those who are following my unconventional dream from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. You have no idea what this means to me. Today, it's rainy, it's yucky, and it's supposed to be raining today, tomorrow, I think for the next 4 days. It was already like mud puddle everywhere and it was disgusting everywhere, so I decided I was going to sow more seeds. And so the last probably the last of my tomatoes. Yesterday I sowed most of my peppers and most of my eggplants. From what will germinate, I'll see if I will be resowing. And then it got me thinking. I remember when I started, I love to watch garden tours and nursery seedling tours, and I love to see what people were doing, their setups, and it got me to where I am today. So I just want to show you a little bit of what's going on in my grow room, so that if you need a little bit of inspiration or you're just looking for ideas to grow your food, I just want to show you what I have and what I have sown. And I'm just gonna turn the camera around. But today, it's the rest of my tomatoes. Some of these are sown, but come on. Don't you want to bite in this tomato? Can't wait. I will show you what's going on. I've closed the lights of this setup because I'm working right next to it and it is bothering my eyes. So this is why the lights are closed. Here, I'm gonna take it out. Hope I don't make a mess. This is the multi-sowing of tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, and I threw a little bit of other types of seeds in here. Multi-sowing, just to give you a little idea, it's when you're sowing of multiple seeds in one little area and then you separate the seedlings and you transplant them in bigger pots. Tomatoes being very resilient, I'll always do that when I need more than 2-3 plants. If I don't need more than 2-3 plants, I end up using plug trays like this. But multi-sowing is practical for many plants per variety. That's why that's there. I did a video of multi-sowing my tomatoes. I will try to link it up here, or if it's not up here, bear with me, I'm still learning on YouTube. I'm gonna put it in the description below. And yesterday, this is the tray of eggplants, peppers, sweet peppers, and hot peppers. Obviously, they're not germinated yet because it's only been like what, 24 hours, so I can't really show you babies. And then this is herbs, and this tray here is a mismatch of a lot of things. I have herbs, flowers, rhubarb, and I had leftover seeds that I just popped in there. The middle row, here are some brassicas, some flowers, some artichokes, some kohlrabi. I did have some light problems. My lights were a little bit too close. I'm still learning. My lights, I haven't had my lights for one full season. Last year I got them mid-season, so I'm still learning with them. So they were a little bit too close. Some of the plant got burned, but the second set of leaves looks like they're gonna make it. So I'm not gonna throw them out just right away. I'm gonna try to see if I can save them. And I have here a tray of pink celery, white celery, and some Utah. I have 2 trays like that, one here and one here. And then these are leftover things that I didn't have space for. When you start seeing this, tomatoes, that's when I go from, oh, it's gardening season to, it's gardening season, I'm super excited. In a couple of weeks, or I should say months, I will have tomato. I'm always excited for the first tomato. And then down here is a couple of experiments that I'm working on. I have ordered soil blockers, the 2-inch, and I believe these are 3/4 of an inch. I made my first experiment with it. Bring you down. This one. So there's 50 little 2-inch by 2-inch blocks, and I sowed some beets in the middle to see if I can get beets faster. I'm hoping to keep them about 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks in the house, acclimate them, and then transplant them outside. I have no idea what that's going to do, but we'll see. If I can get beets earlier than usual, I would be a happy camper. I cannot wait to have beet salad. Here I have some peppers. Some types of peppers, you have to grow them a little bit before. I'm probably gonna massacre the name. It's called Chininsin types of pepper, and you have to sow them 2 weeks before your regular sweet peppers. So I had some arroz con pollo, some ají dulce, and habanada. Those are Chininsin peppers, and from what I have learned on one of the seed starting academy I've attended, you have to sow them a little bit earlier because they take a lot of time to germinate. So this is why those peppers has germinated, and the ones I sowed yesterday, unfortunately, they're not little babies yet, so I have to be patient for those. And my last thing are my onions. These are in 3-inch pots. These are in plug trays. The 1-inch, 3-inch pots, it's because my plug tray, my 72 plug tray, had very little germination, and I didn't want to have like a half of a tray being used and then the other half having nothing. So I just took out the seedlings that I had that had germinated, and I transferred them to a 3-inch pots. But I will do exactly the same thing that I will be doing for the plug trays. I will just transplant them outside in the garden and sow them 6 inches apart. So this is what's growing in here. I do have another experiment, which is right there. This I have to bring inside. It's a bay leaf tree that I have to bring back inside every year, so I try to tuck it in the grow room under lights to make sure that it survives. And then I have some tomatoes that are going in the greenhouse. I have 3 plants like this. The tomatoes that I am experimenting in the greenhouse are determinate tomatoes, and I think I have one that's indeterminate, and I am trying to put them in that's better. I'm trying to put them in grow bags since it's going to be raining for the next 4 days. I doubt that I will be able to do that, but I will put them in grow bags, and during the day, later during the day, I will start to acclimate them into the greenhouse, and then getting them exposed more and more to the sun until I can leave them from when it's 20 degrees, 15, I would say 17 degrees Celsius, 15 would be the lowest Celsius, and keep them in the greenhouse as long as I can so that I can get them to bear fruits in the greenhouse, but then I would have to bring them back in when the greenhouse goes down under 20 degrees Celsius. So this is another experiment that I'm doing to get those fruits earlier. I am also trying the brassicas I showed is also an experiment because I'm a bit early to sow brassicas from where I am. Brassicas are sown next week if my memory is correct. 4 to 6 weeks before my last frost, and next week I'll be 6 weeks. I did sow them 8 weeks before my last frost to see if I can get them to grow in the greenhouse or a cold frame if the greenhouse is not ready, because I do have to fix a problem I have in my greenhouse before I can transplant. But worst case scenario, I have some row covers that I can just put on top and see if I can get cabbages 2 weeks to 3 weeks earlier than I would usually. And I did use shorter days of cabbage to see what would do well. I do want to give you one tip if you're growing inside, something I did not do, and it's a fan. It does get warm in here, and airflow is needed for two things. It does, since it gets warm, the airflow helps, and it gets your plants healthier. So picture that you're a plant and you're in a controlled environment, you are watered religiously and you have zero stress, and then I bring you outside to the elements and all the stress. You're gonna have the worst transplanting shock ever. So what I'm doing with the fan is I'm every couple of hours I point the turning point of my fan is broken, so this is why I'm doing it. But if you have like a fan that moves, you don't have to do this. I put a couple of hours on a couple of trays, and then I move it on another tray and another tray. So what it does is that it makes your stem pretty strong, and it acclimates your seedlings to be stronger for when you bring them outside to transplant. So this is super, super helpful to have a fan. If you don't have one, just brush your seedlings a couple of times a day. So you come here, you take your hand very delicately, and you just brush your seedlings. But a fan really, really does the job for you. And the one that turns, I have to find one for myself that turns. But if yours turn, you just put it on as soon as you put your lights in the morning, and then I turn it off during the night, and then I do the same thing, turn it back on in the morning. So that's a little tip that is super helpful. I will get my hands dirty. I will sow more seeds, more tomato seeds. I will let my imagination run wild since it's yucky outside. And thanks for popping in the homestead today. And I do hope that this little tour has inspired you to grow more food, and those tips are very helpful for you. If tours are something that you really, really would want, do it weekly or bi-weekly, please make sure to comment below if that would be something that is interesting for you. And I could also do a tour from the garden in the back when I start transplanting things in the back gardens. Have yourself a wonderful day, and thanks for popping in. Bye. I forgot to say something. If you like what you see here, please make sure to do a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my content, you can hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell to get the notification that I did publish a new video. And thanks again for following me.